Hi, following is the live recording of Twitter Spaces on the topic aligning SEO KPIs with LLM visibility for business growth. Thank you.
Welcome back to SEO Talk Spaces. This is episode 91, and this is Malhar and Parth joining you on behalf of the SEO Talkers. Welcome you back. Uh, Interesting topic today, aligning SEO KPIs with LLM visibility for business growth. We have enough to talk about because, as all of us knows, the search behavior is changing, and few of us who were recently part of different events, SEO Mastery Summit or India SEO Conference or SEO Larger Fest in Bangalore. I guess everyone on the ground is talking about impact of LLMs and what is it going to do to the folks within the SEO industry. So, lot of changes coming in. Lot of, I believe that lot of work that we do or the way we work is going to change because the way people are searching is changing a lot. So we'll go through all of that SEO KPIs, how to align them with SLM visibility, and all the stuff on the show today. So let's get started. Parth, okay, Gagan and others are also there. So glad, and like Parth also mentioned, please feel free to join, come on the stage, share share your thoughts, your perspective on the topic, on the question that is coming up. This is a very democratic platform, so we don't mind if you have a different point of view also, and we will love to engage on that perspective as well. So please do come on stage. Happy to engage with anyone and everyone on it. So Parth, do you want to set the stage and then we can get started on the Q&A?
Yeah, sure. I think so. The elephant in the room is the LLM. So people are going gaga, but still, I can see it's increasing. The number of answers showing up for a lot of queries, not only informational but across e-commerce as well. And so it is important for business owners, brand owners to like kind of understand like how to align SEO KPIs. Like if organic SEO is kind of their main primary channel, it has been so far. So we'll kind of get into the nitty gritties of what should we look into and how to cope up with the referral traffic coming through LLMs, and how to kind of come up with custom KPIs for our SEO growth. So, yep, excited for today's session.
Okay, brilliant. So let's get started on the most basic one because the topic also speaks about it in terms of LLM visibility. So in context of SEO, how do you think it differs from the traditional search visibility? So traditional search visibility versus LLM visibility, what is the difference? How can we define that?
I think so. LLM visibility is kind of brand's presence when there are AI generated responses from these large language models like Gemini or Bing Copilot or ChatGPT. But the difference is like if we look at the search visibility, it's based on index pages and those how those pages rank in the SERP, the search engine results page. But LLM visibility is all about like based on all the AI generated responses, how often your brand or content is referenced into those answers. So that is where the main difference is. Uh, Earlier, like we used to focus on search rankings, the CTRs, But now when we talk about LLM visibility, it kind of has more focus on the mentions, citations, and how often the content is included in those AI generated answers.
Okay, fantastic. Anyone has a different thought or want to add anything? Please come up on the stage. Gagan, I think I've shared the invite with you. KU, Shreyas, etc. So, an invite has been shared, so feel free to come on the stage and share your perspective also. So, I'll move on to the next one in terms of, because you mentioned some of the uh, key points in terms of how you define a visibility. But uh, say, as a brand, when you want to optimize for LLMs versus optimizing for traditional search engines. So, what are those key differences when you have to do that optimizing for LLMs versus traditional search engines?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I think so. If I divide kind of between traditional SEO and then the LLM optimization. So, for example, if we look at the crawling part, like the search engine bots crawl and index the web pages, while the LLMs train on data sets, and it includes content which they are trained like from what data sets they are trained on, but it's not real time. That's where the crawling mechanism is different. um, if we talk about ranking factors, like in traditional SEO, it was like keywords, on page SEO, backlinks, etc. But when it comes to LLM optimization, it's majorly brand authority, entity recognition, and factual accuracy as well is very important. How does the traffic differ here? So in traditional, it was like click based traffic, user search, click a result. But for LLMs, it's like user directly gets an answer without visiting a website. So it's kind of answer based, and the traditional SEO was click based. Uh, if we talk about content formats, I think so. It's content is optimized for engagement, and uh, the on-page parameters are kind of optimized for CTR, like the title and description, and a couple of other schema parameters as well. But for LLM, it's more of comprehension and credibility. That's where the difference is. I think so. These are the common factors if we talk about ranking factors, the crawl mechanism, traffic flow, structured data, and content format.
Cool. Gagan, your thought?
Hello everyone. I think what we can do is we can start with usual buyer journey and see like where that trend is shifting for first case. Let's say someone used to hear about a brand or a product or a service anywhere, either from a friend or from any social media platform. Then they used to go to Google to search about the brand. So one thing is that if people are turning to LLMs to search about your brand, in that case, it's like very very hard to lose any kind of the visibility. So it will almost be like people going to Google, putting in your brand name, and then the first result is linked to your site, hopefully, and people go there and make the purchase or get to know more about your brand. So that is out the window. The second part is when people are discovering your product or service anywhere, either from a friend or from a social platform or anywhere. So they go to LLM and they start talking about that product with LLM. And now we need to just make sure that it's presenting right text about that. And for example, like recently, I had a case where a specific product went viral on TikTok, and then I searched the same thing on Blockly, and I turned on the deep research, and the first point that it mentioned was a negative point, and it referenced a Reddit comment from someone which was left around 7 months back. So that clearly stop me from going ahead and doing more research about the product and ultimately getting to the brand that is actually selling that product. So I think what will happen over time is that as the discovery and the starting point in the buyer journey goes to LLMs, the broader web will come into the picture. And it's really, really hard to control what people are saying about your product on the broad web. So I feel like we will have lesser control on what is being told to the potential customers. So that will be the first challenge that SEOs need to overcome, where it's almost like link building will become like brand building, brand mentions in terms of like saying positive things about the brand across the whole web. Because what LLMs will can do is whenever someone is searching like a broad topic, they try to present both the positive and the negative sides of someone is searching about the politics and which is for who they should be voting in the next election. It's really, really balanced answer, which means it's picking up from the left wing publications and the right wing publications and presenting like a balanced approach. So same will happen with the brands as well and the services or the products they are offering. So I think a lot will shift, but everything will still be around the buyer journey and what is being said by the LLM and how SEOs can measure that and sort of build a plan around how we can improve that answer and present it to the management teams.
A fantastic one, and so that brings to me to say one particular feature where we see a lot of brands also uh, say stopping some of the crawlers, right? The GPT crawlers, etc., from accessing their websites or accessing their data, etc. So, is there I'm not sure if that is the right strategy, or would that depend on type of the brand? Say someone like a banking or a BFSI kind of brand, or rather, banking specifically may not want some of its pages to be say crawled by uh, say the like any LLMs, but at the same point of time they would want some information about the banks, their products, etc. Still be visible when people are probably searching on LLM. So, uh, what do you think, right, between you, Parth, or if anyone else also wants to pick this up, that is that a right strategy or is it only useful in a certain cases?
I think blocking any LLM from crawling the website is a mistake. But of course, like just as with SEO, like we had robots.txt file and we had like specific control on like what pages we want to Google to crawl and show up in search results. I think it's all right if we block like certain subdirectories where it's more of like user functionality pages where a logged in experience is given to the user. That is all right to block, but I think the overall website and more of like general pages should never be blocked because you would end up losing like ton of mentions and maybe citations to these in these answers to your website. So it's supposed the ROI of blocking them is like uh, there is no ROI on blocking them, but there is massive ROI in not blocking them. So it's better to not block.
Thank you for this, and thank you for this seat in this conversation. I've been listening very closely, and I just wanted to say quickly, I don't know the rules here, so if I overstep the line, please correct me. But I've been working on this issue even before ChatGPT existed, so I've been building an algorithm to combat exactly this issue 3 years now. And I started building an algorithm for natural language web search, where people can search web via Siri, via microphone, by any means. And then LLMs come along. But uh, along the way, I noticed, okay, LLM traffic is rising up significantly. And websites tend to block bot traffic because it is expensive to serve JavaScript images videos to bot traffic. But what I instead found very useful is take care of how you code your website in such a way that you have statically available content of your website before JavaScript even turns on. So you can easily test this if you turn off JavaScript in your browser and visit any website. Maybe you could visit your own website, maybe you could visit the website in my profile. Try playing around with it. And what I found is on my own website, I have a script which tests if a visitor is a bot or not. And if it's not a bot, we don't turn on JavaScript. We don't turn on tracking. We don't serve images. We don't serve any expensive content. But what it allows us to do is we serve very, very bare HTML, which is very easy to parse for all LLMs and all bots. So this was my approach of addressing this issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was an interesting take. In Parth, Gagan, you have a particular point of view here?
Yeah, I think just to add on it, some of like many big brands, their sites are like really JavaScript heavy, and for now these LLM bots which are crawling these websites, they are not doing heavy parsing of the JavaScript, just like Google bot was not doing the same around like 7 years back, when there used to be like a lot of issues from Google side processing the websites which are JavaScript heavy. So right now, same is happening with these LLM bots as well. So if you want to make sure that you are getting good visibility and these LLMs are able to process all the text on your site, then it's good to have to serve a static version of the site as its same mentioned that just like same like we used to do like 6 7 years back to Google bot like serving a static version of the website and serving more of like JavaScript having but built-in functionality website to Google bot, and then it went to the whole chain of like server side or client side, and nowadays it's mostly like Google can handle any side of the thing.
Cool. Parth?
I think so. I have the same viewpoint with what Gagan said. So yeah, I'm aligned.
Okay, fantastic. So moving forward, so what I'm keen on.
Do you think once I pass to bot, the bot that I am aligned, so we need to do a AGI type of passing that is working.
I think so. I'm sorry to interrupt, Gagan. I think so. There's some disturbance, like some background noise. Your
Oh,
audio is not yet.
okay. So I was just saying that the so I was like, we need to do a AGI platform.
Yeah, sorry about it, Gagan. You might want to join back because your audio is. Uh, we can barely hear you. All right. Thanks, Gagan. So I'll go to the next while Gagan comes back and shares his point of view. So uh, this question is more aligned in terms of the uh, referral mechanism, right? So say, how do you identify, right, the traffic originating from LLMs, and how do you say compare that with an organic search traffic? Is there a way to say understand traffic that is originating from LLMs and then comparing that with the organic search traffic?
Well,
Um,
oh, so okay, I will take this one just for now, and then you can. So I've been investigating this very issue very, very closely for a while now, and what I've come to find is that LLMs search the web in the exact same way the women search the web. So For example, my wife, when she wants to buy something, she will type into Google a brown handbag with a long leather strap. Enter. Me, as a person of the internet, I will just type brown bag or something like that. And in my experience, I've been working closely with e-commerce shops and their search consoles and so on. You can kind of see that very long tailish natural language search queries uh, forwarding traffic to your site. And in my opinion, those are not the type of queries that people would usually naturally write. And I think basically you can divide them into long tails and short keywords. And I think you can be 80% certain that very specific long tails, like 5 words plus, are LLM traffic, in my opinion.
That was a wonderful one. Gives a food for thought, definitely. But
Yep, I think so. I totally agree. So if we break down the informational intent, like as we can see, like the majority impact is for those queries. So if we break down into sub intents, like we'll have like conversational intent and kind of what we search sometimes on the LLMs is like um, get the job done intent. Like we are searching for some output and we are searching for some steps or something to be done. So if we break down into those sub intents, I think so. It's not only the whole of informational content, but we have to break down into conversational format, change a bit of content UX, and we have to play around with like how we learned about feature snippet. Uh, we used to write 40 to 60 words of paragraph or for recipes or something like that. It was listicle and then in tabular form, and like we found out a couple of formats, content formats, 4 to 5 content formats that work for featured snippet. So we used to optimize for that. Similarly, I think so we'll have to take this approach. We'll have to understand um, as we go to SERP and try to understand what are the top three, what are the top five websites ranking on the SERP. Similarly, like this thing, like we'll have to go and do on OpenAI, Perplexity, Bing Copilot, and everywhere. So eventually, we'll find out like the majority market share would be probably OpenAI or whatever. Um, so based on that, like we'll currently we are only our majority focuses on Google SERP. Like very few check on Bing what are the search results. But yeah, that is how it is going to be, and based on that, but all in all, like the bottom line is like getting more citations in working on entity optimization, and at the same time uh, working on brand awareness and brand building brand authority. Like branding, i- the value of branding is increasing, and it has increased multifold after this thing, the advent of LLMs since last 2 years. So yeah, brand authority is now on top priority, along with domain authority and then topical authority.
no, very well put, very well put. Gagan, you have a thought?
Yep, I think as Parth mentioned, like having your brand mentioned everywhere on the web is of course going to be like a really big point in getting more visibility in most of the LLMs. And also like if you guys are like trying to track like how many mentions or how your brand is being presented in most of these LLMs, these guys are just using Brave Search API. So if any LLM companies out there and they have any kind of the RAG-based functionality where they are retrieving the information from the web, do note that it's most likely Brave Search API. And you can directly query Brave Search API by going to their website. And there are some free limit as well. if you guys just want to like do quick analysis of like how the brand will show up. So it's almost like Perplexity and X Grok 3, when you turn on deep search and Perplexity, both are querying Brave Search API. So both are using almost same search results to generate the answer, but the answer is a little bit different because their models are a little bit different. Perplexity's own like their usual auto search models are a little bit different than Grok 3. That's why the answer is getting generated in different way. But in terms of brand mentions that are happening in those answers, they are almost same. So if for a particular query, Perplexity is mentioning 3 brands in the answer, then Grok 3 deep search will also mention almost 3 brands in the answer. And those brands will most likely be same because they are doing RAG and the index that they are using both is Brave Search index. So this is something that also that people can also look into.
Brilliant. And to the audience, my kind request is there is a heart sign just beside the chat bubble on your phones. Please use that generously. Uh, if you like the answer, if you don't like it, so anything, right? Please share your thought because that's a way we can understand that we are aligned in terms of the topic which is going on and the answer resonates with you guys. Okay, so kind request to use it generously. Also motivates the speakers to speak more about the topic that is there. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Okay, that makes me move to the next one, and this is little easier if I say uh, traditional SEO metrics, right? So you have your CTRs, organic traffic, etc. Do you think they are still relevant when considering the LLM visibility? Because right, the traditional SEO KPIs, whatever are there, right? Are they still aligned when it comes to LLM visibility? Yeah, who wants to go first?
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to touch on the previous note just shortly.
Okay.
We are talking about LLM visibility, right? And I think it clashes a lot with traditional SEO because I used, for example, boundless leads. Perhaps you heard of them. They are basically a black hat SEO service that just spam your brand all over the internet. And I needed to manually disavow a lot of the links because they're spam scores. But they are mentioning my brand online. But let's say you're a new business. I struggled with it. I'm still struggling with it. My brand is named SEOlytic. That's my website name. When I ask Grok what it is, it first assumes it's a typo, then it crawls around 20 websites, and then it spews out what it thinks is relevant. I found a very simple way to train LLMs with the upvote feature, which every bot has, GPT included. So if you have a brand that is just starting out, a brand that is not well known, you can train the LLM. Just say to your friends, ask LLM about my brand, and then just click the upvote feature, and then that answer gets registered and goes back into the LLM training. So the next time LLM is retrained or updated, your brand will surely get a better placement in its memory. That's all. That's just what I wanted to touch on a little.
Wow, that's a quite nifty hack that you just shared, and I'm sure all of us here will appreciate this particular one. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks for joining and sharing. If I may know your name, is it same or like I don't get your name, but yeah, as per your ID. Thanks for joining and sharing, and to all those who have joined here, who are listening, Keyur, Parth, Sahen, Rakesh, Farhan, Shreyas, and Swapnil. Yep, it was pretty valuable. Um, Answering to the question, I think so. considering the traditional SEO, I think so. Rankings and CTR are those SEO metrics that would lose their significance, like because in AI generated answers, like there are no clicks and no rankings and no CTRs. But if we specifically refer to some of the metrics which are still relevant, is the branded search volume would be more prevalent. Um and I think so. The referral traffic from AI tools that is still trackable using Google Analytics 4. Uh, and probably I think so SEOs have been requesting for an AI mode search appearance feature. So yeah, we could probably see that sooner. Backlink profile is still relevant, like building like not the traditional backlinks, but the backlinks from very relevant and high authority publications. So kind of strong backlinks with credibility, which can influence AI generated mentions. I think so. The engagement metrics which we use to track, I think so, the time on page and the bounce rate. Um, Now we are using tools like heat map tools like Microsoft Clarity. So obviously, content with high engagement is there's no doubt it's going to be referenced by AI. So yeah, these are the older like the traditional SEO metrics which are still relevant in the LLM visibility era.
All right. Gavin, you want to add?
Yep. I think again, like the same thing where you just need to make sure that your brand is getting mentioned everywhere on the web, because LLMs and these RAG-based systems will bring out both sides of the arguments. So you just need to make sure that there are more positives about your brand on the web compared to negatives, specifically Reddit. So you just have to keep an eye on Reddit, how many people are talking about your brand in a negative way, because over time, if that becomes too much, then even in the generalized answers of these LLMs, your brand will be presented as sort of like associated with negative products and negative services. So this is something that you need to watch out for.
Brilliant. So I guess I like that idea shared earlier, that get someone to search for your brand and ensure that they have upvoted that. Probably it's a good signal to ensure that your brand is being talked about in a positive way. So that's a good signal. And I
Also,
also, yeah,
yep.
good, good.
Also, like just to add one more thing, like we all are SEOs and we talk about like sort of trying to make sure that everything is getting talked about in a positive way about our clients, but there is a other side to it as well. Like for example, I hate Forbes advisors, especially because it's not because they are a big publisher or anything like that. What they are doing is they are distorting the consensus of the information which is out there on web. So they are publishing a product is a top in a category, and then they are presenting a list, and list is not what is out there on the web. List is who are their business partners. So if Forbes is saying that in a particular category, one, two, three is this order, but that is not what people are talking about on the web. That order is their business partners, not the real order on the web. So if that page from Forbes Advisor is getting highly weighted by Google and it is showing up at position one when someone is looking for a particular product category, that is totally wrong information which is getting presented to people. And Forbes and others are doing it at scale. So what is happening right now in each product category, whatever we can think of, if we search and a large publisher is showing up, the information presented on their pages is not what the actual reality in the physical world is. It's their business partners who they are saying as top in a particular category. And I think we SEOs have to also make sure that whenever we are talking about our clients, we also need to make sure that we don't associate with brands. I'm saying it in like a really, really weird way. So whenever I personally am onboarding a new client, I particularly do a research around like how much negative information is out there about their products and services. And if I find that there is already too much negative information about their brand and products and services, and they have ton of negative reviews on their Google business profile, I usually don't take them as a client. Because ultimately, if I am able to drive them more traffic, still they will not be able to provide better service to those people. So that is also like an ethical choice that you can make, but I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, it's I guess it's a question of ethics, and uh, I don't know. Sometimes people take a shortcut, so we can't be debating or judging what they do. But yeah, in a way, I hear you, and in an ideal world, probably that's the way it should be. But
Yeah. Also,
to
like
each,
I think, Mhm. Yeah,
good, good, please.
yeah. Also, like I think with the usual buyer journey, if it's going through Google search, then there is not much chances of they being able to directly see the negative side of any product or service. But with LLM, it's really, really easy for a customer, for any like potential customer to see the negative side as well. So let's say if I am looking to buy shoes and I am having a conversation with Perplexity about it, at any point I can just say that, okay, you mentioned this brand, tell me some negatives about it. And at the same time, I can also mention, tell me some positives about it. So that is also making sort of like buyer journey more easier for the customer, where they can research the both sides so easily that they will make the choice. So it's almost like with marketing, we try to create a positive perception of any brand on the web, like generally all the socials, TikToks, or Instagram, and everywhere we try to create a positive perception of the brand. But with LLMs, users will also be easily able to make the choice between positive and negative, and then they can make a decision accordingly. So that is also something people need to keep in mind, especially SEOs, where the query structure is changing and queries are going more in favor of user rather than SEO. Because right now they can ask a certain limit or a certain type of the query to Google search, otherwise it will return like totally trash results. But with LLMs, there will be results for anything that a user is asking. So the diversity of the queries as it changes, how the information about the brand is presented will also change, and SEOs need to keep an eye on that as well. How users are using LLMs, but at the same time, what they can ask, not like what they are asking right now, but what users can ask potentially to these LLMs.
Definitely, 100% agree to that. And I think also have a question from the audience, Swapnil. If you want to come on board and ask, totally okay, or I'm going to pick it up if you are fine with that. And his question is, what are the best practices should I follow so that I can get traffic from an AI overview? Anyone who wants to pick it up?
I will take this one again. So, what we were talking about right now is yes, LLMs researching the web, seeing what people are saying, and so on and so forth. But we also need to take into account that this process is slow, meaning the LLMs scrape the web. That goes into their training, and it can be months and months until some maybe bad reviews about your product come into LLM's training. There's a new, very, very cutting edge way of interacting, of setting up the websites to be accessible to LLMs. And that's by adding the LLMs.txt into your public directory of your website. And also, there is the LLMs full .txt, and what these two files basically do, this is not yet mainstream, but it will very, very soon be mainstream. This is a very easy way, same as for example Google views your web manifest file. LLMs will view this file first before providing information about your website, And what you can do then in this file is address the bad things that people are talking about your product, but in a non-intrusive way. For example, if people are saying online that your product is very expensive and that it is a bad value, you can mention this in your llms.txt file by saying, yes, this product is expensive, but it provides blah, 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 it's expensive to run, and so on. So I think this is a very cutting edge way to address these issues, and it's a very fast and efficient way, because when an LLM comes onto your website, I think if not now, then in maybe a few months, it will first go to your llms.txt file, see what your website is about, and then provide that information. This is a much cheaper way for a scraper to provide information about your website, and it will weigh a lot more than maybe some bad reviews in its training.
Awesome. Gagan, Parth?
I think, yeah,
No worries. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think for now, we can implement LLMs.txt, but there was some research, I think last week or the week before that, where they were saying that most of these LLMs are not respecting any sort of these kind of files. So we just need to make them first respect this file, and then we can implement it. But for now, it does not seem like. And also in US, with some AI action plan that Trump government is working on, uh, OpenAI and both Google, they are pushing for less sort of restriction on scraping anything on the web. So if that plan goes through, they will be scrape anything that they want, and there will not be like much consequences where you will not be able to sue them. So it's getting to a point where copyright is a hallucination, that we can believe that there is a copyright, but there is not actually.
Yeah, copyright. I don't know. Future of copyright is easy at this point of time. Yeah, Parth, you want to add?
Yeah, I would just add one last thing here. As we have control using robots.txt, like we control all the bots, like whether it's Google Ads bot or any other bots, Bing bot or the normal bot, like it's the website owner's discretion whether they want a, a set of particular pages to be indexed in Google's ecosystem. Similarly, I saw this thing probably a week or two ago about the LLM .txt file. I think so. There should be enough control for website owners for which pages they want the LLMs to serve, and then there'll be a lot of gray space where you only serve your good pages or probably positive review pages, or so there should be some kind of democratized or in a way that the publishers have control over their content being tracked. But yeah, Gagan, if you have something to add.
I think as we are discussing like the positive and negative of a brand showing up in LLM's answers, one of the thing is like what is going on with product pages of an e-commerce site. There is nothing that sort of like separates same product being sold by different retailers. The product description is same, product specification is same, mostly the images are also same, some are different, but that is not like a unique factor. So what I think over time, what will become more important is like what content is the unique content is there on your product pages. So one of the things that I have been experimenting is like, is me saying something about the product on a product page, can that influence AI overviews? And I have seen like some really, really good connections on like how AI overviews recommend a product. And if on your product page, you yourself is recommending that product for a certain audience group, then it is more likely that AI overview will also recommend that. So I have tested it for some like students related products, and whenever we added like a lot of text around 800 to 900 words, saying that this product is better for students who are studying design and use Adobe and use Photoshop and these kind of the heavy lifting tools, this laptop with these specifications is better for them. So I think over time, what we as SEOs will need to do is focus on like our specially product pages on, and it will shift more towards we recommending something. So we are telling AI bots that this is who is the target audience for that particular product, rather than AI bot having to do the heavy lifting of actually identifying like who this product might be relevant for. So I think content writing will become like important there as well.
And what if we have, for example, if a user searches for a particular query or asks any LLM for a particular question, uh, and then it lands on a blog page. It's reading the blog page. The user is reading the blog page, and middle of the content, like if he or she has any questions, um, there should be a kind of app, like a picture in picture, like app in app, Gemini, this thing, because Gemini is like Google's this product. So if they can ask following questions, follow up questions, right there while reading the, so what if we provide that custom prompting thing which is trained on your brand's content, and the users engagement increase? So I think so these kind of tactics, like the publishers would probably, the brands would probably try out in order to make sure that the content is trained and the user doesn't have to uh, go back, probably search there only, and will probably get an answer.
I think what will happen over time is like the publishers who using affiliate links have been trying to like get more of the clicks around product recommendations. Uh, if e-commerce sites themselves don't have enough content on their pages recommending their products, then it will they will lose control on what LLMs are saying about their products. So if regarding their particular product category, a user is having a conversation with LLM, and the answers are mostly controlled by their competitors' content on their pages and third-party publishers like news guys and other affiliate marketers, then it's potentially a loss for that particular brand in the answers. And then it will again become the same thing where Forbes advisor is dictating what is being recommended by LLMs. So it's better that e-commerce site owners already start to focus on these things where they have more of recommendation style content on the product pages, and then build blog pages not as the top of the funnel content but as the top of the recommendation. Like if a user start a journey in an LLM, what is getting recommended as first? That's where an e-commerce site want to be. And if you don't have enough or more of content on your own site, then you are essentially losing the control about your product and your brand mentions to third party publishers who will most likely be working with their business partners and recommending their products. So I think it's better that e-commerce site owners specifically they start to focus on more of text on overall their website.
All right. That was some deep dive on the entire topic, but it was lovely. So we still have another, say, 10 odd minutes, and let me see if I can get some more juice out of your brains still, right? Uh, so, like many of you have spoken about the entire optimization part of how what you should be doing, rather, right? But without diluting the quality of your website or your content, is there any way you can still drive the LLM visibility compared to your organic search visibility? Any thoughts there?
I think for now there is not much like specific strategies around optimizing for AI overviews or Perplexity or Grok. For now, it's just that doing the basic SEO will make you rank in all the indexes that they are using, and as they are fetching the results from those indexes, then so does that. Like it's almost like optimizing for Google search will make you rank in Perplexity, Grok, and everywhere else. So still SEO we are relevant. Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on this quickly because I didn't want to plug anything. It's not a good etiquette, but all you talk about actually, I just want to say I've been working on this issue for a long time, and this is exactly what my startup is about. So what we do is we take specific truths, and just to mention, for now we're developing software only for e-commerce, so we're launching on Shopify, and we'll have support for WooCommerce soon. uh, we take specific truths about your product. Let's say you have a shoe that's like Nike something, okay, and 1 million other stores have that product as well. But in your filters, you have colors of that product. In your description, you have materials of that product, and maybe you have rubber insole, maybe you have breathable fabric or whatnot. And what I did is we created a software which takes all of those properties and converts them into collection pages where all those filters, which would usually be in JavaScript, like URL queries, are now embedded statically into the URL itself. So, for example, if an LLM were to search a breathable light shoe for men under $50, what our software will do is we will basically create this static URL and find all the shoes in your store or all the products which align with this description. There is no thin content, there is no AI generated content. And I believe this is the way for all of us, not just for me and for my business, but we, I think, should be focusing more on creating static URLs, and this will just about hit the middle point between thin content and useful content. I think this is 100% on point. If any one of you is with e-commerce clients, I would love you to DM me. Maybe we can have a chat. I'm doing a research right now in the LLM e-commerce SEO space.
Yeah, I just have one point to add is which is like should be concerning for many SEOs is the partnerships that these companies are doing with specific publishers. So OpenAI has pretty much done partnerships with all the large publishers that are there in UK, USA, and in Australia too. I'm not sure about India yet if they have done any partnership there, but I think eventually they will. They will be in partnership with all the major publishers in all the countries. That is my best guess because recently I think they did a partnership with News Corp Australia, which has like so many publications, state, local, national, and it's almost like all the news is getting directly fed into OpenAI models. That should be concerning for SEOs because that means that we will be ending up losing control on a lot of answers where our content might have showed up in these LLMs. And second one would be, of course, like Google stealing our clicks via AI overviews, AI mode, and everything else that they are doing. And especially like we as an industry should be really sus of Google on what they are doing because they are using really tricky terminology around like what is a high quality click from AI mode, and they're saying that people are spending more time on these pages if they are going via AI overviews. And then you do some study and you find out that okay, most of the links that are getting mentioned in AI overviews are also on the first page of the search results. So is Google saying that if you're showing up on first page of the search results, the users that go to those pages spend more time over there, but that does not line up either. So, and also like Google recently also did a sort of like a partnership with SAP, Associated Press, and they will be bringing a news feed in the Gemini app. So that will be something that news SEOs should watch for, because if Google News app is more relevant now for those publishers to get more visibility, but if Google is choosing to go on partnership route and they want to bring specific news feeds in their Gemini app, then this is something also that should be concerning those publishers, because what will be the future of Google News if Gemini app is providing better news to the end users? So I think these are like some of the concerns that SEOs should look into, and they should also like actively start to communicate these concerns with the management as well, because those people are not like yet aware of the technical details of these things and what can be the potential consequence in like 6 months to 1 year in terms of the revenue. So it's our responsibility to go to the management and present the specific plan and say that, okay, this is what is happening and this might be impacting our revenue, so we should have some other plan as soon as possible.
Super, super. But media will do what media does, right? They have to survive. Uh,
Yes,
but I
for
guess
sure.
in a last question, I think we just have a minute, but this one is an easy one. So, do you believe LLMs will complement or disrupt traditional search? Because, and if I have to answer it, uh, or rather, I see it already disrupting traditional search. To what extent will it disrupt is something that we need to see. But again, three of you here, will it complement or disrupt traditional search?
LLMs will make search as it should have been all along, meaning people need to search internet in natural language, and many times us internet people, we know how to search for specific things because we live on the internet. But if somebody's grandmother, daughter, wife, a new person on the internet, you can see how they use the search engine, and they, in my opinion, do not use the search engine any differently than an LLM would use the search engine. So in my opinion, LLMs will level the playing field, and it will make the website owners, it will change the SEO as a whole to provide really relevant content for the search query, which is inputted in natural language, as it always should have been. This is my honest opinion, and this is the ideology of what I'm doing all along on the internet. I mean, we're trying to make websites, products, articles, information more accessible to people just by using natural language. That's all.
The brilliant one, and I will give you another example. So I was listening to Kyle Roof, see probably a month or so back, and the interesting conversation that came was, okay, is your mother or your father really looking at Chat GPT? Right. So there is still a generation which probably doesn't know what a Chat GPT is or what an LLM is. It's probably the nerdy guys within the SEO universe who are probably looking at uh, the LLMs probably. So is it good? In a way, I think it is good because we are early movers and probably getting ready for the future. But there is still a generation which still doesn't know what a chat GPT is. Right? Yeah, Gagan.
Uh, I think for boomers, their introduction to LLMs is via the voice, Gemini Live and ChatGPT Voice, and all these other like where they can talk to it. So that is how like most of my uncles are finding out about ChatGPT and these LLMs, and then they are like, how do we buy more of these? Like some of my uncles, they are like, we got this ChatGPT and we can talk with it, but is there anyone else that we can buy?
No, absolutely, absolutely. Right. So wonderful. I guess we still have the question to get answered. Gagan Parth, last 30 seconds.
I think so. Google, I am kind of very hopeful for Gemini to come up because it has got the most data. Um, the historic data of your Google searches, YouTube search, Google Play Store, and all of that. So Gemini is going to be there. What would be the time frame? I have no idea. Probably a year down the line, 2 years down the line. But Google people will be eventually shifting from Google search to Gemini eventually. So that's one thing. And apart from that, I think so. If we specifically talk about the Chegg versus Google, this thing, the audience of Chegg was young, adapting to AI overviews and stuff. So totally depends on what is your audience and try to understand. But it's going to take years uh, for this behavioral change of searching from Google and getting AI overviews and searching on AI platforms. So yeah, that's my take.
All right. So while you're talking, I think Darwin, if that is the actual name who is on the show, he has just shared this. There is Google DeepMind has just released something mind blowing. It says it can analyze your search history with your permission to better understand interest and give more helpful answers. So part of what Parth you just said is already getting implemented. So that's the future right in front of us. So, all right, guys. So we just went little overboard with the conversation, but it was so wonderful to have each one of you sharing their thoughts, sharing the perspective around SEO KPIs with LLM visibility for business growth. Uh, this is your host Malhar signing off for this week.